Ross, what's up, man? What's good with you, brother?
What's up, man? You already know I'm here to separate the weak from the strong, man. What's up with you?
Man, I'm chilling, man. Just you know, drinking my I don't like to eat vegetables, so I blend it, man. That's my thing. So I'm just eating my vegetables and fruits through blending and shit.
As long as you're doing it,
Exactly. So what's good with you, man? Talk to me, brother.
man. I'm sitting here and I'm intrigued by the topic because not there's not one person that's in the combat sports. This is a second person who
Yep.
is a world-renowned trainer who had a three belt middleweight champion for 4 or 5 years
Yep.
consecutively.
Yep.
Who knows boxing, who's been in boxing for a long time. Abel Sanchez saying the same thing that Michael J. White said, who said the same thing that we both said. Now, what the fuck they gonna do with that?
Can't do shit with that because Abel Sanchez doesn't even have affinity with Earl Spence. And here's the thing. Abel Sanchez is a beta male's perfect trainer that they love. Beta male moistures get behind Abel Sanchez because of the fact that he's a triple G trainer.
Yep.
Just like they love the hype job Canelo Alvarez, they love the hype job Triple G. And the hype job Triple G trainer said out of his own mouth, when you look at Spence's eyes, his eyes was flush. It was bloodshot red, which indicates that his legs was gone, that he was done, that he already went through a fight before he actually had a fight. He wasn't ready. That's
And
not the Spence that we know.
here's the thing, he knows. The reason why a lot of people don't understand that is because they never been pushed to the point of exhaustion. They don't understand that actual feeling of
Mm-hmm.
being dehydrated. But you being a former Army cat and me being a former Navy cat and actually being in boot camp, we even worked out to the point of exhaustion.
Beyond exhaustion.
We've been worked out to the point of we seen niggas faint. We seen
Yep.
niggas throw up. And I
Yep.
seen that. I seen that even in football practice. But I
Yep.
see it almost every day at boot camp. You see people
Yep.
throw up. You've
Yep.
been up. You've been up all night, dehydrated, doing whatever crucible, whatever y'all call it. We call it battle station. You've been
Yep.
up 24 hours straight, sometimes 36
Doing the
hours
obstacle
straight,
course. Mm-hmm.
to where you have no legs.
I hated being
You,
put in an NBC fucking chamber, having to breathe all that gas shit,
right,
run around in that motherfucker, stay in that motherfucker, then come out, lungs feeling like they want to burn like a motherfucker,
right.
man.
You know what I'm saying? So you felt how it is to be depleted. You felt how
Yep.
it is to be depleted.
Yep.
You know that when you're depleted, you could barely stand up, you could barely walk
Yep.
because your legs is gone. Your leg strength comes from your core. Your core
Yep.
comes from you being sustained. It don't matter how
Yep.
strong you are, if you're not fully fed, if you're not fully hydrated, you won't be able to have that burst that you need.
Yep. And people think the core is just your abdomen muscles. Your core is your abdominis, rectumus. Your core is also your obliques. Your
Right,
core is your rector spinae, which is the lower part of your back. The core is
right.
also your lats too. It's connected, man. All that shit is connected.
You need all that, man. And you won't have that power in your legs that you need if your core ain't right. If your core ain't
Mm-hmm.
right, your core ain't right. It's not if you ain't swole. You could be swole. Your core loses a lot of effectiveness if you aren't hydrated right.
Yep.
We're 70% water. If we don't have the water in our body, we don't have the food in our body that we need.
You're
We're gonna
fucked.
be less effective.
Yep.
If you had to cut X amount of pounds over and it's too short of a time, you're going to be less effective. And a lot of times they'll work us out in the military so hard that if you would step on the scale, you will see in that hour that you lost 5 to 6, 7 pounds Do you know that's
Yep.
unhealthy, man? We
Yep.
call it getting beat. They say in
Yep.
the Navy they call it getting beat. I think in the Army they call it getting smoked. I don't know what I
Yep.
don't know,
Getting smoked.
but
Yep. You
they call
said
it
it.
getting smoked, and we call it getting beat in the Navy. They
Yep.
basically beat you to within an inch of your life because there's people who die from that shit.
Man,
When I was at boot
listen,
camp,
man.
we had two people
That's
had
why I said I'm glad you said that shit, man. It takes a special kind of person to be the way we was, man. I'm starting to now that you said that, you making me appreciate the fact that as soldiers, as people that's been in the military, we part of a special kind of fraternity, bro. You making me
we're
realize that shit just now again.
we're 1% of society that could go through that and
Yep.
survive.
Yep.
Hardened
Yep.
criminals choose prison over boot camp, and when they get a prison term, it's like 10 years. Boot camp cuts that down to 6 months. They choose prison over boot camp
Facts.
because they know they won't survive. They know they won't survive boot camp.
Yep.
So the shit's crazy, man. So what people don't understand is, and when you're working out to the point where you're dropping over 50 pounds, you're putting yourself through boot camp. You're putting yourself
Yep.
through boot camp every day.
Yep.
Every day. The more
Yep.
strenuous though.
Yep.
Because you're dropping 30, 40 some pounds over that time. And when you're younger, it was easy to do. And he's an elite athlete, so it's easier for him to do. But as he gets older, Spencer's no young man anymore.
Yep.
And Crawford knows that. And Crawford's trainer knows that. That's why they delayed the fight one more time. When they saw
Yep.
Spence made the weight again, and he looked good against Ugas, they said, no, we can't take this fight right away. We got to delay it one more time. Hopefully this is enough. Hopefully
Yep.
this is enough right here to where he finally hits that wall. And they were
Yep.
fucking right.
Yep.
They were right, man. And people saying around here talking that Crawford's this, Crawford's that. Crawford is no Floyd Mayweather Jr. Floyd Mayweather Jr. went up and fought people at their best and beat them.
Yep.
Floyd fought Oscar De La Hoya at 154. Floyd went up and fought Cotto at 154. He ain't bring him down like Pacquiao did at 147 because he knew he was gonna walk right through Cotto at 147. It was good.
Yep.
Pacquiao walked through Cotto so easy because Cotto was dehydrated. He's a dead man walking. Floyd fought him at his fucking best. That's why I don't give Crawford no credit for this. After I've seen everything and this confirmation that Spence was dehydrated, and Crawford's gloves confirmation that he'd been tampering with his gloves. As a man who respects the game of boxing and the traditional boxing, I cannot give Terence Crawford not 1 ounce of credit for this.
Yeah, because the bottom line is Terence Crawford basically is showcasing his cowardice. And the reason why I'm saying this is because why do you want to put it out there that, oh, well, Spence didn't say or I didn't say that we couldn't do it, which is wrong in of itself, because both of you guys at the post conference, Spence said he could no longer make 147. So he really said it.
Right.
And you said it at the post press conference too, that you could no longer make 147 anymore too. But then all of a sudden, when the glooming reality of the rematch clause was activated for a guy who supposedly got washed by you, he's clearly wanting to fight you again with no issue. You want to sit there and put the position and say, well, it has to happen at 147. In so much so that Steven Espinoza had to come out and say, look here, man, we're not going to play these fucking games, because all of a sudden you can make 154 to fight Jermell Charlo, but you can't make 154 to fight Errol Spence. No, you can't have your cake and want to eat it too. We're not going to make a fight that is going to be advantageous to one fighter and it's not going to be advantageous to another. That's not how legacy fights are made. It's going to be a situation where it's going to be beneficial to both parties. Mm-hmm. So the fight is not going to be made if it's not beneficial to both parties. What people have to understand is Terence Crawford is an employee. He's not an employer. He's under contractual obligations of the employers of Al Haymon, aka Uncle Al, and Steven Espinoza. They have the final say on how this shit is going to play out, especially when it comes to the legacy fight. That's how this shit works.
Yep. because Crawford up until the Spence fight. Why am I getting so much feedback? I think I got my mic up too loud. I don't want to ruin the show. Crawford up until this point was not a major player in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Major players in boxing because they have cash cow, um, money generation. You know what I'm trying to say? They could generate,
Generational. Mhm.
right. They could generate a massive amount of cash flow.
Yep.
They're in a position where they can employ Al Heyman to be their advisor. They're in a position where they can employ a Showtime to be their basic distributor.
Yep.
Crawford's in the position to get a good check that he never got before. He's not in the Floyd Mayweather position.
Yep.
Notice, only one person, Al Heyman only came out to talk to one person, one fighter directly, and it was Floyd.
Yep.
And it was more of a suggestion like Floyd. I suggest you go right now because, if you wait any longer, you're gonna hold up the venue.
Yep.
And Floyd's like, all right, cool. Blah blah blah. This and the third. Floyd Al Heyman doesn't have. Even he has a great relationship with Errol, but it's not like the relationship he has with Floyd because they were
Yeah.
mutually beneficial to where Al Heyman wouldn't be Al Heyman if he never landed Floyd, and Floyd
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be Floyd if he never had somebody looking out for his best interest. So it's kind of like Michael Corleone and Vito Corleone.
Yep.
So you know what I mean? It was kind of like that. This relationship with this relationship with Terence Crawford is not mutually beneficial. Al Heyman is already Al Heyman.
Yep.
So they could make this fight. They could make this fight. They could not make this fight. Spence could go up to 154, rehydrate it, and just dominate there.
Yep.
And it would be a great what if.
Yep.
It'll be a great what if. But if he never looks this dominant against somebody else like he looked against Spence, guess what? People are going to go back to that Spence fight and be like, what the fuck happened that night?
Yep.
What happened that night? You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why Buster Douglas doesn't get the credit he deserves, even though he walked down Mike Tyson and beat his ass, because Buster Douglas' career didn't do nothing else after that.
Yep.
And I believe he beat Mike Tyson fair and square. I believe Mike Tyson had a lot of things going on, and it affected him. But I don't believe he cheated Mike Tyson. But because he didn't go on to whoop nobody else that way, nobody don't even think about that no more.
Exactly.
So imagine if Errol Spence was going to get undisputed at 154 and Terence Crawford end up starting to look like the old Terence Crawford is struggling with lesser fighters. People are going to be like, yo, what was that against Spence? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
What was that against Spence?
But here's the thing, though. Even if Crawford tries to play those games where he tries to act like he doesn't know what the fuck is going on, Crawford has no choice in the matter. And the reason why he has no choice in the matter is simple as this. Crawford had signed a 2-fight deal. And in signing a 2-fight deal and signing what we call a bi-directional rematch, which is the actual technical term, the bi-directional rematch. The boxing fan base and YouTube has called it bilateral because bilateral is just easier. Most people are stupid, so stupid people have to use easier terms to break down to other stupid people. So that's why they have to use that term and say bilateral, because bilateral just sounds easier on the thumb, but really the actual term for it is bi-directional. When you say bi-directional, you have to understand the full vernacular of why you're saying bi-directional. Bi-directional in the sense that it's bi-directional to both parties. That means it basically has to have both parties' approval. It has to have both parties say so. It has to have both parties' ideology. It has to have both parties go ahead. That's why it's called a bi-directional contract. So both parties have to sign off. So when Terence Crawford tell you some stupid shit, like, oh, I don't have to do this. No, motherfucker, you have to do that shit because you signed a contract that stipulates that both parties have to be in agreement with what the fuck is going on.
Right.
So both parties being in agreement with what's going on. I had to teach people that a lot of people don't do everyday business shit. I do everyday business shit, so I understand these things. So now that it's understood to people that both parties have to be in agreement. Spence already told you on Twitter that was his second confirmation. So when Crawford says Spence didn't tell him, Spence can go in the court of law and say, look, at the post press conference fight, I told you I no longer can make 147. That was the first declaration. This is how he could easily win in a legal battle against Terence Crawford with this shit.
Right.
The second way that he could win is he could say, I made it publicly known because I went on a social media website and I changed my insignia to say that I'm no longer a welterweight. I am a super welterweight. When you click on his Twitter shit, it says he's a 154 pounder. So when Crawford says that he didn't let it be known, he let it be known twice before he even activated the rematch clause. So legally, if we're going off of legal findings, an attorney will have a fucking field day against Terence Crawford all day, every day on this shit. He would actually be laughing at Terence Crawford saying, what? Why are we even wasting our time in court? This shit wouldn't even go to court, man.
Terence Crawford is not a intelligent person at all. Because if he was, just how you know he does things off feelings and not off intellect. When he was feeling himself after the win, he said, man, and Spence talking about he could barely make 147. I barely made 147.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he made a mistake. He was capping. He was lying. He made 147 very well because look at his body. Yep. But he was saying that because he knows Spence barely made 147, and he knew that was a legitimate excuse, and he was trying to take Spence's excuse away. But by him doing that, he fucked himself.
Facts.
Because he's on record saying we could do it at 154 because I barely made 147. Now you can't go back.
Yep.
So now it looks like, since you said that, now it looks like you're trying to keep Spence at 147 because you know he you could beat him at 147. Not because you're better than him.
And that's what Steven Espinoza was alluding to.
Right. Because you know that he's not himself at 147.
Yep.
Anybody who gets behind Terence Crawford is because they're that type of person too.
Yep.
They're sneaky, they're conniving, they're cheaters. They go behind people's back. They say one thing, they do another. They have no integrity. Those are the people who do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Those are the people who do that, man.
I'm glad you said that because what it revealed is simple math here. And the simple math that it revealed is Terence Crawford has no fucking say-so. He don't run shit. All he's running is his chihuahua barking mouth. All he's doing is he's chihuahua barking, man. The reason why I keep saying that shit is because Espinoza just fact-checked him, and if anybody's smart, they could see that. Espinoza just basically said that if you try to play this game with 147, that's why I did to put the shorts up, there's no fight to be made. That's basically what he's saying is the fight is null and void. And he has legal standing to do that because you signed a bi-directional contract, which stipulates that both parties have to be in agreement. If the motherfucker already told you post-fight, I can no longer make 147, then he goes on a social media website and changes his banner to now he's a 154 pounder, and then you, on top of that, say, I barely made 147. I can no longer make 147. Man, this is a fucking legal field day, man. You've incriminated yourself legally by saying what you said. But a lot of people, they get so caught up in emotions, they get so caught up in hoopla, they get so caught up in what's presented in front of them, they can't even see the reality behind why someone says what they say. The bottom line is Terence Crawford, you signed a 2-fight deal. You're not going to get out of this. The next fight is going to be at 154. Hopefully Bomac is still not in jail. But you know, like Bernard Gaines said, salute to him. And he was giving us credit. He was like, salute. He knows everything. Salute Tom Ross. But he's right. The chickens are coming to roost. I have to use the Malcolm X terminology because punishment is happening everywhere. When people do shit wrong, people got to understand, man, God don't like ugly, bro. He never do. So when people do shit wrong, wrong has to come back. Salute to you, CG Beats. Salute to my boy, man. But God don't like ugly, man. He hates ugly. And the ugly element is Terence Crawford did ugly shit. So because he did ugly shit, he has to pay the ugly consequence for the ugly shit that he did. And fight fans don't want to accept this shit because fight fans want to get in their box about what they think they know versus what they don't think they know. But a lot of fight fans, they're really fanboys, man. They don't know shit. And when we tell them the truth, they get in their feelings. The truth keeps coming out. Not only did me and Ross give you speculative information that really became truth, we're being confirmed by Michael Jai White, a guy who is a combat sports veteran for 30 plus years. He literally knows everybody in the fucking game. Then you got, Abel Sanchez, a Triple G trainer, telling you the same thing. He has no affinity. We know that for a fact. He has no relationship with the Spence camp, and he told you, let's be honest here, Crawford didn't fight the real fucking Spence. And the reason why Crawford don't want 154 is because he knows that's where the real Spence is gonna be, man. Like Eminem said, will the real Sim say, please stand up? Please stand up. The real Errol the True Spence is gonna stand the fuck up, and he don't want that, man. He knows that's gonna be a fucking problem. And now the chickens are coming to roost, and he knows he can't double cheat. Our eyes are gonna be on him because of guys like us, and then copycats and duplicators on YouTube that also created stuff to talk about him loading his gloves, padding his gloves. It's documented, well fucking documented. Him basically on undetectable PEDs. If you look at the background, which I'll show you guys, you look at Terence Crawford's body, his body is ab fucking normal. Why is your body looking like weigh-in shape on what? 9, 10, 12 weeks before training camp? Nobody looks at weigh-in shape. Not even Floyd Mayweather looks like he's in weigh-in shape 12, 13 weeks, and Floyd works out every day. When you understand the health and fitness and you understand working out, when somebody rehydrates, their muscles naturally become bulkier. That's why you always hear in health and fitness, your bulking phase, your cutting phase. There's a reason why all of that shit is relevant, because there's such a thing called glycogen reserves. When you fill your muscles up with food, your glycogen reserves are no longer depleted. When guys have to make weigh-in, it's because they are depleting their glycogen reserves, which speaks to what Ross was talking about earlier with the shit that they do to us in boot camp and stuff like that. They're depleting our glycogen reserves, which is stripping us of not only fats, but muscles in our body, which is making us leaner. That's when you're in like an extreme caloric or calorie deficit. But when you replenish your glycogen reserves, they no longer become glycogen reserves. They become glycogen surplus. So that means now you are feeding your muscle. You are basically putting in water retention into your muscle. So when you do that, your muscle grows. That means weight grows. That means you add more weight to the scale. So that's why there's a difference between fighters when they go into the weigh-in and their glycogen reserves are depleted and they look as skinny as fucking possible. But then when they come in and they rehydrate, it's the term boxing used, but in the health and fitness world, it's just you're in a glycogen surplus. Once you're in that glycogen surplus, you put on the natural weight that your body's supposed to be for that night. How come Spence looked the same way he looked at the weigh-in on fight night? He did not. That's another thing people didn't pay attention to. He did not rehydrate. That means he was severely drained.
Right.
But Terence Crawford properly rehydrated. That's because
Crawford looked bigger than Spence in the fight.
Exactly. He was bigger than him.
Spence. How the fuck you go from looking like a typical, not even typical, undersized welterweight when you weigh in, to looking bigger than a natural welterweight when you weigh in.
Yep.
Come on, man. People want to. That's the thing. This society is the witchcraft they work, especially on black people, is top level. They got us to the point where we don't even
Salute to
care.
Marquise for the $10 cash app. Marquise is so loyal and faithful, but it can't just be him, man. Y'all gotta start donating to motivate, man.
And that's the reason why I said, man, after we've been on here for so long and they're not donating the motivator, we gotta slide, man, because one person can't carry the whole thing. That's not fair to him. But here's another thing. Damn, I forgot what I was finna fucking say, man.
We was talking about the glycogen part with Crawford being bigger than Spence.
Yeah, but people aren't understanding this. This generation of people, they've been brainwashed so good, they don't even care about truth no more. They don't give a damn about truth anymore.
Facts.
If the truth doesn't make them feel good, they could care less about it.
Well, shout outs to Terry Thomas for sending a $10 cash app. That's what we talking about.
Salute, man. If the truth doesn't make them feel good, they can care less about it. But the scripture said, in the last day, people have tinkling ears.
Yep.
Running to and fro to hear lies.
Yep. Itching ears, motherfuckers, man.
Itching ears, not tinkling. Itching ears.
Yes.
Running to and fro.
Yes.
And that's what they do now, man. People look at their fight. They look at the Wilder fight. Same Fury gloves flapping everywhere. They said that was a legit fight. Fury just won. I looked at the fight. Same Fury was down in 15 seconds. They said, man, Fury beat the count. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they want to believe. You got to understand. People who believe that Crawford was the pound-for-pound king now, they're the people who lie about things, who have imaginary lives. They're the people who live in fantasy. They live in fantasy. They don't live in the real world. When they lay down at night, they're not the person who's been walking around talking to people. They create a whole different person just to sleep at night. So these people have yet to accept the fact of their own lives. How can they accept the fact of their hero?
Yep.
It's kind of like when you're a kid and you watch wrestling. Some people accept the fact that wrestling is fake as soon as we realize it.
Yep.
We still watch it, but we know it's fake. And there's some people who are who have to be forced to accept that fact.
Yep.
There's some people who have to be forced to accept that
fact.
Some
people, it's sacrilegious to tell them that it's fake. Like my old boy, he watched that shit religiously. When you tell him it's fake, he just love it. But he know it's fake. He just love it for the entertainment value.
But that's one thing. Cause I watched when I was watching Stone Cold, I knew it was fake then, but it was entertaining then. But there was people like when I told my little brother that wrestling was fake back in what was that 89 when I realized this shit fake. You can't hit nobody in the head with no damn chair.
Yep.
When I told him that, guess what? That nigga swung on me. We started fighting, man. Exactly. When I told him the Ultimate Warrior, I was like, man, that's fake, man. I said, listen, if I body slam you right now 3 times in a row, would you be able to continue fighting? And he's like, nah. I was like, think about it, man. These guys get body slammed like 8-9 times in a fight, man.
Yep.
It's not real.
Personal.
That
he took what you said personal, man. Like that was fighting words. What you told him. He punched
me in my face, and we started fighting.
Yep.
Because some people, they get angry at the truth teller. They get angry with the truth teller because you ruin you ruin their fantasy. Why you think they're lashing out at Abel Sanchez right now? They're lashing out at Michael J. White.
Yep. Oh, you saw that. You noticed that they was lashing out on both of them.
I didn't see it, but I know they're doing it.
Yep.
Because they hate the truth. And guess what? Michael J. White is a professional martial artist, a professional guy in combat sports. All because you don't fight in the UFC or boxing don't mean you're not professional. When you are in the Hollywood and they either hire you for your martial arts skills or they hire you to teach other people how to do things correctly so
Yep.
it looks right. You are a professional at what you do.
Yep.
They didn't just hire Bruce Lee to fight on screen. They hired him to choreograph whole fight scenes.
Exactly.
Said, y'all do this, y'all do this, y'all do that. You duck here. You do Jackie Chan choreographed the whole Rumble in the Bronx. Dude's a
Mm-hmm.
genius. He made every fight scene up in his head, and it looked like it was really happening in real life.
Yep.
Check it out, man. When you do that, you're a professional. You know what's going on. So when a professional in combat sports tells you, just look at the guy, man. The guy wasn't right. I got inside sources that's telling me what my eyes are seeing. Errol Spence wasn't right. How many people was watching that fight? Go on YouTube and look at fight reactions. Everyone's
Yep.
saying, what's wrong with Errol Spence? What's wrong with Errol Spence? What's wrong with Errol Spence? Everybody's saying it. Now all of a
Yep.
sudden, because Errol Spence didn't win, we're gonna act like that didn't happen.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Well said, man. And I'm glad you said that because it always takes us, because everybody else, they'll be so they can't talk about this topic forever. Only me and you could talk about a topic forever. People will get bored. Even the best of the guys that are, we could call them our soldiers, you know what I'm saying? Like the real Marlo TVs, one of our soldiers out there. He'll have to talk about something else. I understand that. But me and you could keep talking about something forever and ever and ever because of the simple fact that we understand all of the nuances. We can peel the layers of the onion and we can break shit down unlimited. When you're passionate about something, you can always break unlimited aspects of things.
Right.
And what we're passionate about is truth. It's not even about boxing. It's not even about anything. We just like to get down to the nitty gritty of the truth. There's a scripture says that the word of God is sharper than any two-edged sword. It pierces the dividing asunder of the soul and spirit, even unto the joints and marrow. It's a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart. Every time I say that scripture to myself, it's like goosebumps because it's like,
Right.
damn, the truth is that lethal that it has to break down your cellular structure just to get into the anatomy and the biology of your DNA, to then, after it breaks all of that down, then to get into the spiritual aspect. That is the element of the truth. When the truth hits, it has shock value. Like Mel said here, the truth will shock many and they aren't ready to hear it. Of course, they're not ready to hear it. The reason why they're not ready to hear it is because the truth in of itself has what we call all right, I already did it, Ross. You didn't even need to type. I already know what you was gonna say. I already did it. I ain't playing today. But the truth, um, um, the truth, the element behind the truth is this, man. And it's really simple. When we speak the truth and we break the truth down, we're breaking down a phonetic aspect. The phonetic aspect we're breaking down is we're telling you something that you cannot deny. And that's what we love about the truth. It's undeniable. We're not going to be like your favorite pandering beta male moisture YouTuber that's going to tell you something that's going to give you itching ears. That's what Ross was talking about when he said itching ears. A lot of these YouTubers, they give you what's cute to your itching fucking ear. And the
Right.
reason why your ear is itching is because there's some beta male moisture in you that you need to have that itching ear tickled. You need to have that itching ear satisfied. I'm never going to give you content to satisfy your itching ear. I'm going to tell you what you motherfucking need to hear. Not what you
Mm-hmm.
want to hear, but you need to hear. Ross is always going to separate the weak from the strong. And people don't like to have to deal with that every single time. You want to know why, Ross? Because people low key want to be in a fantasy world, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have VR, virtual reality, and that's why you have that. What's that other shit? Metaverse. That's why you have all this weird, nuanced shit that has manifested. The reason why is because people want to be in a ready movie player one type of situation. They don't want to
Yep.
be in reality. This is
That's
why
why.
the Matrix is so phenomenal.
Yep. That's why niggas sit on the game all day. Think about
Yep.
it. You supposed to enjoy the game for an hour or two. Niggas sit on a game all day. And I might have some gamers in here, but I'm gonna tell you something. If you sit on a game all day and
Yep.
you're not getting paid from that game, it's because you prefer that reality over your own.
Exactly.
Well, how do I know? When I was miserable in my marriage, you know what I was doing? Until I
Salute
finally
the
figured.
King Styles
You,
for the $5 cash app.
salute. You know what I was doing when I was miserable in my marriage? I was on the computer all day
Yep.
because really that reality was what I was able to deal with that reality more than the reality I felt like I was stuck in.
Yep.
I'm not even immune to that. But I was a young man. You know what I'm saying? Right now, as a man I am now, I realize nothing's gonna change your real life unless you get up off your ass and you change it.
Exactly.
I was a young man trying to figure it out, so I was trying to ignore it, tune it out.
Yep. Either
So
you
I
get off
know,
your ass and make a change, or when somebody gives you mentorship, you take advantage of the mentorship and then you get off your ass and make a change. Because a lot of times people can get people that can be telling them stuff, imparting knowledge, wisdom, and understanding into them, and they have it at their doorsteps. A lot of people have this, but
right,
a lot of people don't take advantage. Ross was not fortunate to have that. Me, in elements in my life, I wasn't fortunate to have that. But there's a lot of these guys, especially these young guys up and coming, they have this shit at their footsteps. They have it at their fingertips, and they're still right there playing the game all fucking day, not
all day,
heeding to the advice.
all day, man.
And
So
that those are actually the worst ones because you have the information at your fingertips, but yet you're not utilizing it. And the reason why is because people want to live in a la world of fantasy. And this is why I love people think me and Ross hate women. No, I love women. I love the creature element of a woman. You know why? I love
they
women
better
because
not think I
women
hate women. They better not think that shit. I hope
they're
I'm an
better.
alpha, so I tell women what to do. And
Exactly.
not because I tell women what to do, don't mean I hate them. I just know they need to be guided. But you need to be a man
Exactly.
that can guide them. Before you start
Yes.
telling women what to do, you gotta have your own shit in order.
Thank you.
Straight up.
Straight up. I love women because women put you as a man in a reality of, and they will always give you a reality check of where you're at as a man. You want to know where you at as a man? Start dealing with women and deal with women exclusively. And the way that they behave to you and the way that they show you respect, the way that they act towards you tells you really where you're at in the pecking order. And that gives you an opportunity to make certain decision changes if you know you're not all the way up to par. Because as a man, you know when you're not all the way up to par. We all know that shit. We don't need no motherfuckers to tell us. We can look in
Right.
the mirror and say, okay, this is off. This is not right. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing here. We don't need nobody to tell us that. But if you deal with a woman exclusively, when you see her start nagging and bickering and all, that's not coming from no place. That's coming from a place of there's something you're doing that's lacking. Because if you're not lacking, that shit is not happening. It's just the way the reality works on that. It's just the facts behind that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm saying that to say this to a lot of the guys here. A lot of the guys here, they prefer to live behind a computer screen of people that tell them what they want to hear and that's accepted by the people. And really, it's like cult-like behavior. It's like a
Yep.
cult-like mentality. And they don't want to fall into the reality that, you know what? What if I question what this person is saying? What if I question why this person is thinking the way that they're thinking? The reason why I've always gotten in trouble, and I think there's a reason why Ross has always gotten in trouble, is I've always bucked the system, man. I've always challenged when something don't make sense in my fucking head. I challenge that shit, man. I remember as a grown ass man, I was in a church. This pastor was saying some shit that I was even like, and then I got up in front of the congregation. I was like, "Why are you being so boastful over yourself?" Like, and I'm like, "Why do people in here not catching this. Like, you just keep like tooting your own horn. I said, you can't say God is speaking through you if you tooting your own horn. You know what happened when I said that shit? The man got so mad at me, his bodyguards came to try to remove me. I said, "Oh, so it's like that? So
Right.
because I told the truth about you, now all of a sudden, I don't remember Yeshua Yahushua having bodyguards come in and remove people because people said something that was indifferent. I mean, he
Right.
had Pharisees coming at him like fucking left and right. I don't
Right.
remember him saying, "Well, my angels, I charge my angels to come in and dispatch you right now." I don't remember that shit.
Nah.
So
But
why you got these bodyguards coming in trying to tell me I need to leave? It's because what he was saying was going in line with Mel said. He was telling people what they wanted to hear, and that was accepted by the people. You know, in our community, our black community, when there's a term that they used to say, when these pastors start going into the the Lord said, and the Lord, it's a term that they use for that shit. But when they doing that to satisfy the itching ear of the people. They're doing that to satisfy the person's emotions. They're
right.
doing that to get the people to donate. But really, they're not saying nothing fire like that, man.
And really, what they're doing, they're telling you what they want you to do.
Yep.
But people don't realize is the Christian church, like boxing, like a lot of things that are mainstream, is ritualistic and
Let me make some coffee. Go ahead.
and it's witchcraft. Because whenever you're constantly being told something that's not true, and you rarely get real, true, actual things that are actually happening, like in boxing, majority of champions are put in place. You know the real champions because they fight against the real champions. They try to disrespect the real champions because they didn't put them there. Like the Bernard Hopkins, the Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s, the Andre Wards. The champions who they fight and they denigrate in the media are the champions they didn't put there. Just the black celebrities who they like the Floyd May like the Kanye Wests, right? The Michael Jacksons, the Princes. They ain't put them there. Michael Jackson had to fight to be on MTV. Prince had to fight. Kanye had to fight to get recognized. They ain't put him there. He forced his way. And when you force your way, they fight against you. In basketball, they put LeBron there. They didn't put Kobe there. Kobe made himself that. And when they don't make you, they fight against you the whole way. Because the majority of what you see is witchcraft. The majority of what you see in this world is an illusion. If you watch Marvel, you know how Loki could make an illusion? Well, saying the prince of this world is an illusionist. None of this shit is real. And what's real gets fought against. What's real gets fought against. And if the world's not fighting against that person, they're not real. They're part of the matrix. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when you play a video game, the whole game is programmed a certain way. The only thing the only thing that ain't going with the program is the character that you control. And that's the reason why everything in the game fights against you, because you're not a part of the programming. You don't got to know about all that. You don't know about all that because you're not paying attention. Yeah, I'm glad you believe that. But even if you didn't agree that Crawford is cheating, if you pay attention to shit, you'll realize that majority of shit you see is cap. Big cap. And I'll prove it to you. Everybody was surprised. So many people didn't know Biden was. I knew Biden was going to be the next president when Barack Obama was still in office. Well, I knew that. They start coming up and making it mainstream, these memes and these sayings, having Barack Obama or having Biden attacking who? Trump. That was going to be the push. The push wasn't what Biden was going to do for black people. The push was going to be that we don't like Trump, and Biden was already the ringleader. They made him the ringleader through the memes. Because they always had Biden attacking Trump for Barack. And black people are very easily controlled. were easily controlled. So I already knew he was next up. And I knew the majority of black people don't read, don't understand that Joe Biden is the one that created the 1994 crime bill. So I knew most black people aren't read enough to know this guy is an enemy of black people, worse than Trump. Because Trump talk, Biden do. I'll say it again. Trump talks, Biden do. Trump say shit, Biden does shit. The shit that Trump was talking about, Biden actually did with actual policy and law and government statutes. But the average black person, dumb as fuck, and don't read and don't pay attention to shit. So they'll vote for a nigga like Biden unknowingly because they don't like another nigga. So I saw that coming. But if you don't understand this matrix, you didn't see Biden coming. You thought it was a real election. You thought there was a chance that Trump could win. I knew Trump was going to win this re-election because they had already settled Biden. Just like they're setting up who? They're setting up what's the name next? Kamala Harris. They're setting her up next. If she don't fumble, she gonna be the next president because she's already set up. And black people gonna vote for her because they believe she's a black woman, and we always want to see somebody that look like us in a position of power, even if we know they ain't gonna do shit.
But you know what, man? I think, sometimes our people get it right, and I think they've realized with the Biden and the Kamala Harris administration being full of shit. This is why I think Trump's gonna pass again, bro. And I think he's gonna get that next 4 years because
hopefully he does.
Because he was able, when they tried to do that bullshit where they tried to arrest him, they tried to get his ass arrested. That shit was funny, man. I remember I was down there at my parents' house because my parents, they're so indoctrinated to be Democrat. So a lot of black people are indoctrinated to be like that. They hate me for saying that shit.
And that's why I tell you, that's why me and you, we come to the agreement. Mm-hmm. Haitian, Jamaican, Dominican, Puerto Rican, it's all the same motherfucking shit because we all fall to the same doctrine.
All the same doctrine because we all Hebrew.
Just different language the niggas speak, different broken language.
Yep.
I speak Ebonics, you speak fucking Creole.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. But the funny thing about it when you said that shit, and you can tell we all the same because look at the principles are the same. That's why I tell you we all Hebrew.
Right.
It's in us to pray. Like when you say you're sending your friend off before he left to go travel, pray. I did my parents did that with me. Like that's a Hebrew thing to do. But anyways, I just said that to say that. But anyways, going back to the whole thing with Trump, I told my parents that they got mad at me. I said Trump basically did a photo op. That shit was so funny as fuck. Who gets arrested and then all of a sudden books and then leaves to get on a plane to go like this? When have you ever seen some shit like that before in your damn life? You never see that. When somebody gets booked, they're staying at the place that they got booked in at. I'm sorry, there's no photo op after that. There is no shaking of hands. Trump is a master. When I say he's a master alpha male, I have to explain why I say that. You see, when they had the GOP thing that just passed right now, right? Mm-hmm. He purposefully didn't show up. You know why he did that? You have to understand the psychology of superiority and inferiority. His ass was supposed to be mandated to show up there. Right. But by not showing up there, he's basically telling you psychologically, I'm better than these people, so I don't need to be relegated to the same level as them.
Right.
And the message is being clear. Whether you psychologically accept that or not, your mind subliminally has accepted that. Because now he goes and speaks in front of a rally or in front of a place that has nothing to do with the GOP back and forth bullshit.
Right.
You're basically accepting the fact that he's telling you subconsciously, I'm better than these people. So I don't need to waste my fucking time.
Right.
And what people got to understand is when people are masters at what they do, Like Kanye West is a master of manipulating the moment. Donald Trump is the master of understanding when the moment makes sense.
Right.
And that's why they two are the most dominating guys to ever touch Twitter. Nobody has been more dominating than those two guys in Twitter. These guys trend every fucking time they touch Twitter,
As soon as they tweet,
because they are masters at what the fuck they do, man. And that's why they're the ones that's always being booted off Twitter. That's why they're the ones that's always being put on Twitter, and Twitter can't help but to keep them.
Because low key, the people who create Twitter aren't even that popular.
Nope. And the reason why they boot them off is because how are these two guys more powerful than us? You know what I'm saying? That are the creators of it. Because usually when you're under something or you're under the box of something, you're not supposed to be more powerful than it. You're supposed to be like the superstar, right? But you're not supposed to be over it. No, these guys are over it. So that's why they get booted off. When you see they get booted off, it's because they're more popular than the machine. When Kobe became too dominant as a basketball player, the NBA said, you know what? We're going to have to now start doing things to veto him to where he can't get trades in his favor. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to mention Michael Jordan too. They did the same shit to Jordan. When they realized that Jordan was coming from 84 to 88, when they saw that Jordan hit the league and he was just this guy that was just playing above the rim while everybody else was playing below the rim, they were like, what the fuck? No, we can't have a guy this damn dominant. So what did they end up doing? In the All-Star game, they turn around in the All-Star game, and then they tell you in the All-Star game, you know what? Listen, Michael Jordan, we're not going to make sure you get the ball enough. Just like with Kobe. They made sure with Kobe, they made sure they didn't keep him all the way to the fourth quarter to battle with Jordan. You know why they didn't want that? Because they didn't want a guy that was going to go toe-to-toe with MJ all the way through. But with MJ, with Isaiah, they was like, Isaiah's the perfect person to do this because Isaiah's going to make sure the ball don't go to Jordan, because we don't need this one guy flying over all these guys, embarrassing them left and right. So they had to keep the elder statesman of basketball the way it was, because they didn't want to bring in that next wave that was coming. They didn't want that shit to happen.
And that's another thing I don't like, is because Isaiah Thomas had barely got to the league a couple of years before Jordan did. So Isaiah Thomas was young. He didn't have that sentiment towards Jordan. They did. But they used him because he was the point guard and he took the blame for the shit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
But the actual people that really should have been taking the blame for it is Magic Johnson,
Dr. J, Magic Johnson, them niggas
Larry
was hating on Jordan.
Those guys.
That's why I tell people. People are saying, "Is Isaiah Thomas?" I said, Magic Johnson he's the one that's the conniving nigga. But he's more easy to like because Magic Johnson tell you what you want to hear.
Exactly.
Isaiah Thomas, believe it or not, if Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan sat down, they would be closer than what Isaiah Thomas and Magic was, because they more alike. Yep. Believe it or not, Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan more alike than Michael Jordan is and Magic Johnson is.
Yeah, because Isaiah's a Chicago nigga. Isaiah's a Chicago nigga, and Jordan's a real nigga, and
they both cutthroat.
One thing that's synonymous with Chicago niggas and real niggas is they real,
right? And because Isaiah Thomas was the same way. Isaiah Thomas fought all his teammates because he challenged niggas. He challenged niggas in practice. He'll be like, "Hey man, listen, we can't win no championship like that, man. You're not playing." Like he'll just stop the whole practice and be like, "People don't understand." Isaiah Thomas ran Detroit Pistons practice, not Chuck Davis. Mm-hmm. He said when it was going to start, when it was going to end, what they was going to practice.
Yep.
And Jordan ran the practice.
Yep.
Phil Jackson
and Joseph Swaby, we will share the link, man. If you could donate $100, we'll share the link with you, man. We'll definitely share the link. You donate $100, we'll share that link with you, man.
100 too steep. Let's do 15 to 20. Let's do 15 to 20 and get a nigga 5 minutes to say whatever the fuck you
15 to 25 minutes. I could agree with that. But you know if you want to ride for about 30 minutes, $100, man. We'll let you ride for 30 minutes. $100 though.
Yeah, but let's check it. Let's check this. But at the end of the day, this is your platform. We share these lives. This is your platform. You say, "Hey, Ross, fuck what you talking about?" This is what
I'm
it
only
is.
saying that. I'm only saying that, brother, because we spewing that rare and that special shit. And I feel like the money should just be rare and special to match the rare and special shit we keep. Cause we look at what we talking about, man. We're not only
Yeah.
talking boxing, man. We giving people politics. We giving people truths. We giving people spirituality. We're debunking Christianity. I mean, that shit is worth $100, man.
The reason why I said 15 to 20 because we're in a mini recession right now. We're in a
Okay.
mini recession right now.
Okay, and I can respect that too. So yeah, like he said, $15 to $20 because this is his live too. So 5 minutes. You know, $15 to $20, 5 minutes.
Come here, rock for 5 minutes, man.
There you go.
And you better use up your whole 5 minutes. Don't be here talking about man, spend the whole 5 minutes. You got the whole 5 minutes to say whatever you're gonna say. We're just gonna sit back and do like this. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, man,
I'm checking my phone. If my phone buzz and it says it buzzes and it says a cash up from Josie Schwabi, then you can rock, bro. But yeah, man, going back to this, you know, the reason why I'm mentioning all of this with MJ and all of this and tying it eventually back to boxing is because what they did to Michael Jordan is systemic to the oppression that they've done to Floyd Mayweather. You could tie Jordan and Floyd and that same thing. They just like the boxing honor guard. Remember that term they used to use, honor guard? The honor guard knew that someone was coming, and that was Floyd Mayweather. Your honor guards at that time was Roy Jones Jr. He was starting to decline. You know, you started to have all these guys decline, and they knew Floyd was coming, but they had to constantly say, well, you know, he's not flashy. Well, you know, he's not offensively this. They always have to put you in a box. With Jordan, it was like, even though they knew Jordan didn't have a team, it was just him carrying the Bulls. Well, you know, he doesn't have a team. It's just him. How can he win with just him? You know, they always got to put you in this weird fucking box. This weird nuance.
What they did the opposite. They held Jordan to the same standard they was holding. They held Jordan to the same standard they was holding Magic Johnson. But Magic Johnson, people don't understand. Magic Johnson was loaded. He only had an average 18 points to win those championships.
Mm-hmm.
And Jordan had a Scottie Pippen who used to quit in the middle of the games. He was temperamental and shit. You know what I'm saying?
And before that, Jordan had to deal with the Chicago Bulls. That all these guys, when Jordan got to the team, these niggas was on coke and doing all kinds of debauchery. People forget Jordan came into that.
Right.
They was talking about the Chicago Bulls becoming a team that was almost not going to be an NBA team no more. The owner was getting ready to sell this team. They were getting ready to disband the Bulls. Jordan came in and revolutionized a franchise. People forget this shit.
2 franchises, because guess what?
Yes.
Nike was finna get ready to go belly up too.
Yes.
That's why I hate that deal that Jordan signed. I understand why he did it. It's the best money he ever made in his life. But it was a George Foreman grill deal.
Yeah, but you know why the deal was done the way it was?
George Foreman would have like 300. George Foreman would have like 200.
Movie Air, though, it tells you why the deal was done like that. Anytime you let a woman make the deal for you, because who was the one that schmoozed the deal in?
His mama.
The mom. Anytime a woman makes the deal, the woman's always going to go with the first thing that's in front of her. The dad didn't have a final say-so in that situation. That's why that deal wasn't all the way together.
If Jordan would have just kept 50% of his royalties and what he had due to him, he would have seen the Kanye West money.
Yep.
Instantly.
But his mom was the one that they schmoozed because women always look for security. And once they realized they were able to put that, hey, you can be secure in this deal, then she went back and convinced her son, hey, take the damn deal. That's what happened. Let's be honest. That's why the deal happened the way it did, man.
Hold on, I'm not attacking Jordan. What I'm saying is just how dirty the system is when it comes to us. He saved. They was about to go belly up.
Yeah,
he saved them.
Jordan just now getting what he deserves because now they finally gave him because you remember when they started out the Jordan shoe, there was the Nike all over the shit.
Right.
And he just recently, in the last few years, has his own signia on it. And now it's his own situation because he doesn't have a lifetime deal. The lifetime deal is for like lesser athletes like LeBron James or whatever. Jordan has his own distribution within Nike. He should have had that from the jump.
He has his
But
own brand.
I think as he smartened up as a businessman, and now he started being the one to run his own shit, he realized, okay, I got to make way more money now. So
right.
now I got to make it my thing.
But here's the finesse. The finesse is you don't got Nike on shit. It just say Jordan, and because it just say Jordan, you get most of the credit. But it's still a 5% royalty. Now that 5% royalty is a great royalty because it's like $100, $200 million a year. He don't got to do shit. Jordan will never go broke, basically.
Yep.
But Jordan's supposed to be making Kanye West money off those sneakers. If Jordan was getting, think about it. If they could pay 5% and that 5% is $200 million a year, imagine what 95% would be. So I'm not knocking Jordan. I'm knocking the system and how they do us. Because they know that we ain't really had shit.
They always put us in the box.
They know that we ain't really had shit coming up. And they step on us because like, these ain't really had shit. But I'm trying to tell niggas the power of Jordan. I'm trying to tell niggas off this the power of Lamar. Because they basically giving Lamar Jackson a Jordan trajectory. They're making sure they keep his talent around him minimum. So he got to do all the work, and then they hold him to they did the same thing to Jordan. Now that I go back and read the clips, they did the same thing to Jordan. And then when it's time for him to win the championship, they'll start gradually giving him letting him get a little help. You know what I'm saying? Let him get a little help. Because they wanted to wait a little bit. They don't want him to get shit right away. You feel me?
Yep.
All right. Cool, man. But at the end of the day, man, when it comes down to it, everybody knows. Everybody who wants to admit knows that there's something fishy about that Terence Crawford, Errol Spence fight. Whether you want to admit it or not, you know deep in your heart something was fishy about that.
Yep. And here's the trippy part about it. I'm glad that you mentioned what you said about Jordan, because I could get into that soliloquy. But, sometimes somebody has to be the sacrificing piece to set the tone for everybody else. Because through Jordan's sacrifice, Kobe was able to make the Mamba shoes because Kobe was able to look at his example and say, okay, I'm not going to be done up like this. And they killed Kobe for it. But Kobe created the Mamba shoe that I honestly believe was going to take over Nike and was going to take over all of the shoe market.
Right.
Period, because he already had two athletes under him. He signed Usain Bolt and he signed Mia Hamm. And he was getting ready to sign that female NASCAR driver as well, too. So he was getting ready to take over, man, like a motherfucker. And I think they realized that. So they probably put something in that damn plane. Nobody could convince me otherwise. They put something in that damn plane and killed this motherfucker off, man. This reeks of JFK's son, because he was going to become a huge president. He was going to become a monumental president. And they was like, nah, we don't want another JFK being president. Let's go put something in that fucking plane and kill that motherfucker off. You could kind of tell when they set a motherfucker up to kill them, man. It's just the writing is on the wall, man. It's just obvious.
They did Kobe wrong, but at the same time, the fact that God allowed that to happen is because Kobe had did his job.
Pretty much.
Kobe had did his job. It wasn't for Kobe to do all that. It was for Kobe to motivate the next generation to see through BS and to also never quit.
Yep.
Never quit.
Yep.
The reason why Kanye's still here, because Kanye isn't finished.
Yeah.
What's Kanye's finished? Unfortunately, they're gonna take our brother, but he's not finished. Once Kanye's finished, they're gonna, you know what I mean? But Kobe was done.
Yeah.
So
Kanye may very well be like John of Patmos, man, because he was the only apostle that lived all the way long life
But he
Even though
lived in
his ass was
exile.
in a prison, even though his ass was in exile.
But guess what? Think about it. Kanye's in exile.
Yeah.
He's in exile.
Yeah. So he might end up having that John of Patmos type of vibe, man. Because you're right, he is in exile because he was the richest. They stripped him of that. And then he found a way, and this is how you could tell he's so intelligent. He found a way to still get back on his feet and still build it back up. He said, fuck it, I'm gonna marry this chick here, Sensory. She's smart as hell. She's been on the team. You know, and that's why I always tell dudes.
That's the type of woman you supposed to have.
Get with women. Don't just get with women because of looks. Get with women because they bring substance and they bring value to the fucking table. He saw that she was valuable, man. This woman is actually 1,000% more valuable than Kim Kardashian because she low-key was part of his creative input with shoes, creative input with his fashion. So she's low-key been a workhorse. And that's why I always tell people, get with somebody that brings value to the fucking table. Don't just get with any motherfucker, man. Right. And because of that, now he's low-key. He's doing it low-key, but he's low-key building the blocks back up. Like he's doing it secretly, but he's building the blocks back up. Yep. And you could see it. You could see the blocks being built back up to the point to when it actually happens this time around, they really won't be able to take it away from him because he's doing it more independently. Yep. With the Ye 24 and all of that, he's doing a lot of independent shit. So they really can't take it away from him this time around.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's all I gotta say, man. Is there anything else you want to say, bro?
Nah, man.
I know
we put our all into this. Those that were able to donated. Those that didn't, or those who refused to didn't, and it's fine. But we both are busy, and we can't just stay on here just talking if we aren't getting the equivalent of what we're giving, because this guy has real estate. I write books. Yep. I'm an author, and there's other things we could do, but we love y'all, but we got to get up out of here.
And Ross, I hope after you watch that movie, man, you come up with another genius book, bro. That's what I'm hoping for.
Me too, man. You know, I love movies. Movies inspire me.
Yep.
Me too. Appreciate that, dog.
Oh, no problem, man. But I'm looking forward to that. It's been real. It's been easy. Peace.